So, welcome to the DBMS class. In this DBMS class, we will be talking about the second unit constituents, that is, how we are going to bring up the ER diagrams towards the pure SQL commands and how we are going to cope up with one another, how we are looking the relation if I am going to use a SQL command, and how these SQL commands with creating of a table while designing the schema, how they can be mingled to the ER diagram. So that is the main way what this ER diagram is going to say. So from ER diagram to the relational model. This was the main objective of this unit. So how these ER diagrams are used to draw up the relation. Now, we have this data definition language. In data definition language, we do have how we can create a table. That is, I'm going to name the table name, that is employee. The table name was employee here. So SSN, I'm going to define it as a character, name, defining it as a character with 20, and LOT, a variable, which it is defined as an integer. Now, for an employee, I should have an employee ID. So for that, that should be not null and it should be unique. For that, I am going to define it as a primary key. So when it is unique, there is no redundant, no duplicate value is going to be part of a unique here. So we are going to assume primary key. We are going to assume primary key. We are going to have primary key, and primary key it is going to define it as an SSN. So as we are mentioning it as a primary key, we call it as SSN as an underline, name and LOT. These items we are going to call them as attributes, and employees we are going to call it as entity set. Entity set. So relationing a database design, that is from ER model to relational model. So now you can see this entire entity as ER model, and writing this element we are going to call it as a relational schema. So now we are going to have a schema. With this schema we are able to create this content. Now, what does this second diagram states? In this, we are going to call it as entity sets. This one we are going to call it as relationship sets, because since is going to be a part of a relation here. So this is entity set 1, entity set 2. Now SSN is the primary key, because we are going to have an underline here. DID is going to call it as a primary key here. Now SSN is borrowed to works in, DID is borrowed to works in. Therefore, these items here, they are foreigners and they are going to be called it as foreign key constraints. So here we are going to call these entities as a foreign key entity. Now the relationship entity is having two foreign keys, is going to have two foreign keys, one SSN, two DID, and these they are going to relate it in the relationship set. And SSN and DID are primary keys, are going to be the primary keys in entity set. Now, here we are going to show up the translation relationship sets to tables. So how we are going to make a SQL command, how we are going to make the SQL command here, that was the main objective what we are going to say. So here you can see that attributes of relations includes the keys for each participating entity set and the descriptive attributes. Fine. Now we have to build up the relationship set. The relationship set. We are going to call this one as relationship set here. Relationship set, and relationship set, it is going to have its own date. It is going to be called it as a date data type, and SSN, it is borrowed from employee. DID, it is borrowed from departments. But is this okay? No, because SSN is a primary key here, DID is a primary key here, and both should invoke the foreign key references. Both should invoke the foreign key references. How we are going to make a foreign key references? Now you can see in this diagram the primary keys are SSN and DSN. The foreign key, it is going to refer from the employee table. It is going to refer to the employee table. DID, it is going to refer to the department table. So this is how we have to understand the relation. So we created a table, and the table name was worksin. SSN is going to be an attribute, DID is going to be an attribute, and these attributes refer to the primary keys of other table. These are going to refer to the primary keys of other table. How I am going to make a mechanism? The mechanism, I am going to use a keyword called here as a reference. Now, these items, that is either a SSN, either a DID, they are going to make up the word called as super keys. To make a key constraint, we can go with one-to-one relation, one-to-many relation, many-to-one relations, and many-to-many relation that we have discussed already. Now, here is a scenario which it is going to implement one-to-many relation. Here is a scenario, what we are going to put up before you was one-to-many relation. So this one-to-many relation has to be taken up with key constraint, has to be taken up right now with key constraint. So assume there is a scenario, there is an employee SSN 101. He is from 2008 to 2012. From 2006 to 2012, he is a manager. And there is an employee SSN who is going to be 102. From 2012 to 2021, this person is a manager. So 101, 102, they are managing the department. They are managing the department. They are managing the department. So 101 SSN, how long he is going to manage? He is going to manage for 6 years. SSN 102, he is going to manage for around 10 years, we can mention. So for every department, we should have one manager. We should have one manager, and both are employees of same department. Both are the employees of the same department. You should understand here. So one person should manage the department. That means assume we are going to consider a CSE department. So in CSE department there will be only one HOD. So assume there is a person called as 101 and he worked from 2006 to 2012. So this 6 years tenure, that person was the manager. From 2000 onwards to present, there is another employee. So he is going to be the manager. So there won't be two head of the departments for a CSC. There will be only one of the department. So if such is the case, we are going to point out, we are going to draw a bold arrow mark. We are going to draw a bold arrow mark. So that is what we have to relationship with one to many. And one notable item what here was, both of them they belongs to the same department. Both of them they belongs to the same department. So it can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4. So both of them they can be to the main department. That is what we are going to assume. Now how we are going to put the elements, how we are going to derive this relation in relational model. So I am going to take up the employee table. It is SSN name and lot. It is SSN name and lot. Next I am going to have a department table. So we are going to have a department table here. So first one was a department table. So in department table, we have department ID, department name, and department budget. Next one, we are going to have employees. That is SSN number of an employee, followed by employee name, and followed by LOT. So this is table 1 and table 2. So department ID is going to be the primary key, SSN is going to be the primary key. Now we have to localize two variables, SSN and DID in the manager. So what we have taken? We have taken a managers here, and then we made a department, and we have made an employee here. So in this SSN and department ID, we are going to have DID. So this is how we provoked the content. Now, SSN has to be borrowed from employee table. SSN has to be borrowed from employee table. So SSN is a primary key in of employee and it is acting as a reference key. DID is a primary key of the department and it is going to act as a foreign key in this department. Two items are going to be observed. Now, here primary key is chosen as a DID, but earlier we derived this concept. We have a super key, that is SSN comma DID, we have to choose only one. SSN or DID, we have to choose only one value here. But as far as this item is going to be concerned, we are going to choose department ID as the primary key item here. Now, let us look with a next word called as weak entities. So weak entity can be identified uniquely by considering only the primary key of another owner entity. So SSN is an employee and his dependents they have a policy number a policy name and a policy age. And as long as the employee is working in that organization, the policy benefits are given to the dependents. If the employee is going to leave, obviously the policy benefits are going to be taken out from the dependents also. So a weak entity is an entity that it is purely dependent on the other primary key. The other primary key we are going to assume as an SSN, and if SSN is an employee in that, then only the policy is going to be active. So that is why we have represented it as bold diamond box, bold line, and bold rectangle. We are going to point out with bold rectangle, bold arrow mark, and bold diamond box. So a dependents are active unless the employee is active. If the employee is deactive, obviously descendants will be disconnected. Therefore, dependencies we are going to call as a weak entities. We are going to call weak entities. So now, how we are going to put the weak entities in this form? How we are going to put the weak entities in this form? So for that, we are going to use a word called as on delete cascade. For that, we are going to use a word called as on delete cascade. If the person is employee of this college, then his policy benefits can be enjoyed too with his spouse and his children. If the person is no more working in this college, obviously the policy benefits will not be given to the employee and his employee dependents, his wife and his children. They will not get the policy benefit. That means as long as an employee is there, they should get. If the employee is not there, they should not get. Then how I can put this in relational table means I can put this with a word called as on delete cascade. I can put this with a word called as on delete cascade. If I am going to call this as an on delete cascade, immediately if the employee terminates, policy benefits will be terminated for the departments. So that is how we are going to interrupt the feature. So now we are going to create a table called as a department policy, and policy is having a policy number, policy age, policy cost, and it is going to be tackled with a employee ID, that is SSN. And now we can see this a primary keys. So policy name is a primary key, policy SSN is a primary key. Policy name is a primary key, policy SSN is a primary key. So now you can see here the dotted line, it is from a weak entity, so we are going to put the dotted line. SSN is a strong entity, you are going to put it as a line here. So dotted line we are going to mention for the policy name. Policy name is a primary key. When it is primary key, until it is the employee is there in that organization, it is there. If the employee is not there, it is not there. So how can I represent it in ER diagrams? I can represent it this with a dotted line. Now how can I write it in a SQL command? You can write it in an SQL command as on delete cascade. So policy name is a primary key, SSN is a primary key. Now what will be the foreign key? So in foreign key I am going to choose SSN, and it is going to reference the employee, and if it is going to be deleted, the things which are going to be part of this SSN, that is P name, will also be deleted. How is this understood? You have understood as primary key is a superset between policy name and SSN. Primary key is a relation which it is going to be brought up with SSN and a P name. So you are going to interpret in this model. Next one, I is a hierarchy. So in is a hierarchy, we are going to work with ternary relation or above. We are going to work with a ternary relation or above. So I am going to have this employee, we are going to assume it as a base, and I can say it is derived class. It is going to be derived class 1 and derived class 2. So one set I am going to call it as hourly employees, another set I am going to call it as a contract employees, and how I am going to put a relation was the relation is going to be a is a, and it is going to be in levels. It is going to be in form of levels in representation with a granularity. So how can I choose these elements? How can I choose these elements? Now there are three relations. First relation was employee, second relation was employee hours, third relation was contract employees. So you can see here, first relation was employee, second relation was hours employees, third relation was contact employees. We made these three. So what will be the things for employee? It is SSN, name and lot. What will be the things for hourly employees? It is SSN, hourly wages and hourly name. For contact employees, it is SNN and contract ID. So now, how can I put the keys here? How can I put the keys here? So what will be the foreign key and what will be the semantics has to be railed up. So for that, we are going to have a model in this way, that is we have one overlapping constraints, two we are going to call it as covering constraints. First concept we are going to call it as overlapping constraint, two we are going to call it as covering constraints. So three relations, two tables, and queries involves all employees as a pros, and queries indexing is going to be taken up. And if it is two relations, again employee must be in one of the two subclasses, and they are going to avoid the joins. We will look into each and every item in detail. We will look into each and every item in detail. Now, what is overlapping constraint? So in overlapping constraint, hourly worked can be with the permanent employee and hourly worked can be with the contract employee. Hourly worked can be with the contract employee and hourly worked with the contract employee and the hourly employees. So a contract employee, he worked for these many hours and he leaves, and he is not going to be the permanent employee. But if I am going to call it as a permanent employee, he is also paid salary, he is also paid wages, but in form of a hourly basis. So hourly basis equation, it can be used with an hourly employees and it can be used up with a contract employee. So we call these as a subclasses here, and this is main class. So when I am going to call it as overlapping constraints, when it is going to be called as overlapping constraint, now you can see, can Joe be an hourly employee as well as a contract employee, whether it is to be allowed or disallowed. So we are going to call that item as an overlapping constraint. Next one, does each employee entity has an employee hours or contract entity hours? Answer is yes here. So when we are going to call it as a covering constraint, yeah, covering constraint, everybody is going to be paid. So they are going to have how many number of wages, the hourly wages for it, you are going to pay it. So it is coming under a word called as covering constraints. So in this topic, we mentioned about one ER modeling, two we mentioned about the relational model, three we are going to use this rules to translate ER diagrams to relational model. So this is what we have taken up as a part of this here, of this PPT. Yeah. So I'm ending up, and we'll have a couple of 5 minutes break. Then we will take up another topic. We need not hurry up. So